The question is game day Miami and Florida.
Yeah.
Where? Well, I mean, does that not seem terrible?
Oh, like you'd like to go there or what?
No, I mean,
No.
game day picking that game where it's going to be what's going to happen to Florida on Saturday?
Oh,
should
I'm
be
sorry. I'm
illegal
thinking
in
of Florida
49
State. I'm
states.
looking too far ahead.
Yeah.
I'm looking too far ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm talking this Saturday.
Well, I tell you what. As we go along, maybe we look at what would have been a better choice and throw that out there. Think
Fair
of
enough.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. All right. That's Chris. I'm Brian. This is Health We Know. This is your podcast about college football, all things college football. Right now, it's all game stuff. Like in the off season, we'll talk recruiting and those kinds of things right now, but we're talking game stuff. This is
Rando
start of
stuff.
week 4, rando stuff. Yeah, we might talk about whatever science stuff. We're two idiots that Health We Know can go about anything, whether it's sports, whether it's gambling about rugby or whatever things we don't know what we're talking about. We'll still talk about and have an opinion. So we're gonna get right into it. It's week 4 of college football. There's some good games out there. There's some strange things. College football's a different landscape. And the first thing I'm going to say, and we don't talk about much, is that the Civil War, Oregon State, Oregon, that should have been the last Saturday in October or November, is this weekend because Oregon State and Oregon are not in the same conference anymore. So that's strange. The Apple Cup is also this weekend, Washington State and Washington. Also, usually rivalry week, same time as like Michigan, Ohio State, and those kinds of games like that. So, just another reminder how different college football is compared to where it was, not just when we were kids or when we were middle-aged adults, because we're up on the other edge, I think now. But like 5 years ago, what college football landscape looked like, pre-NIL, pre-portal, although there's also someone to talk about there, the portals windows changed, eliminated one of them. So anyway, I'm rambling. Let's just get to the games. This Saturday, we're going to start with a big one for two teams who have just been murdering people, and we don't really know much about them to see if they're real. I mean, we saw Utah hammer, was it UCLA, the first game, which turns out to be like, it might as well have been Houston Christian, welding school or something like that, because UCLA is a terrible program right now. Texas Tech has just been beating up on people. So now, going into Rice-Eccles, we're going to know a lot about both teams. And if Texas Tech can come out of there with a W, I mean, we're already taking them serious anyway, but they might be a damn good football team. Like, they're getting good quarterback play. They're certainly like setting up for the future, not just this year, but like their NIL package is about second to none, really. They're using that oil money, just like pumping that oil money right into people's pockets and to top recruits. So having said that, Utah's a 3.5 point favorite. So that's a pick 'em, basically, right? I mean,
Yep, for
some
sure.
degree, right? Yeah. Over under is 56.5. I mean, I feel like I'd take the over on that. Both teams will play some defense, but I also think they'll get up down the field. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 35, 34, 33 kind of game that blows past that 56. So what's that, 28, something like that? I feel like both teams are going to surpass 30 to get you there. But I know you probably haven't seen as much as I have of Utah and Texas Tech because we're not on prime time. But do you have any initial thoughts on this game before we jump to the next one?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the Texas Tech. The Texas Tech roster is really good. I mean, that's
Yes.
bought and paid for.
Yep.
So, and then Utah is going to be well coached. The Utah quarterback, I was reading a little bit on him today. They're still waiting for him to throw his first interception this year after 3 games. So, and I for one hate that as a quarterback. You're just thinking about that.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Because it's going to happen. You're a quarterback. You throw the ball, 20, 25 times a game throughout a whole, 12, 13, 14 games, however far you go. You're bound to throw one to the other team, whether it's tipped or whether it's just a bad read or whatever. And so, but everyone's just, when's he going to throw his interception? Well, it's going to happen. Right. And it'll probably happen this weekend. Yeah.
It might very well. Yeah, I mean, this is not when you want to have. You want that to happen in one of the tomato can games. Get that out of your system. Like Bryce Underwood threw one last weekend against Central Michigan. Well, he also ran for 115 and 250 and 3 touchdowns. That's when you get it out of your system and before you go on the road to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, and throwing them is going to happen, and it's not that you throw them; it's when you throw them, like you're just saying. yeah, the throw it to lose the game is a lot different than some tomato can. Like you're saying, you're up 35-0, and it goes in the hands
Take
of
a
somebody
shot
else.
deep.
So
Who cares? Whatever.
right,
Right.
it's whatever.
You learn, as long
I
as you
I
learn
like
from it. Yeah.
I like Utah in this game just
I do too.
right out of the gate. I think they're just better. I think they're and what we said in the past weekends. Give me the bet now. The Texas Tech quarterback is good as well, but that
Yes.
the Utah his last name escapes me because I read about him today and I was trying to make sure I remembered, and now it's just of course it's gone. Give me the home team with the better quarterback play. If all things being equal, the better team or the better quarterback play at home, that's the way that's the play. Yeah, give me Utah on this one. I think they went outright. And I like the over too. I'm like you. I think there's going to be points for sure.
100%. Absolutely. Oh, someone buffer on me there. Yeah, I do too. I like Utah for the same reasons. I just find that they're going to be physical as well. That's just Rice, and we should be watching Rice Charlotte, I guess.
Ugh.
We don't have a pick on that, by the way, guys. We love football, but we probably won't have a pick on some of these, mid evening on a Thursday MAC games, etc. So I like Utah too. That's a tough place to go and win. I don't care how good a team you are, and like you said, they're going to be well coached. Utah is. They always are. They're physical. They're gonna be who they are and unapologetically about it. And I like them to win and cover that. I think this would be a close game, but I think they cover that 3.5 though.
How much do you think altitude plays a part in these
It
games
has
like
to,
this? 'Cause
right?
Salt Lake's at altitude, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
um,
Lubbock is not. I
Utah,
don't think. there's
no,
mountains in
no,
Lubbock.
no.
You
So
lived in
I wonder
Texas
how
for a
much that
while. You
plays a
can
part.
confirm. It has to.
I was in
So
Houston. Yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just going with a couple examples of the last 10 years or so I can think off the top of my head. So Florida went there a couple years ago with a pretty solid team and got beat up, right? And then Michigan played them. Jim Harbaugh's first game back in 2015, they went to Utah, and it was just a tough game, man. Like, they don't play well out west anyway, but that acclimating from the swamps of Florida or the plains of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and going to Salt Lake, I mean, that's got to be a factor of some way, shape, or form. You just don't go out there the day before and acclimate and you're good to go. Like, that one last tackle you missed was because I can't catch my breath because I'm out of gas and I need oxygen to take. That's the difference between a missed tackle and a tackle and 60-yard touchdown or a 2-yard gain. The margins can be really narrow like that, and so you have that. You're used to that in Utah. You take advantage of that, especially when you're playing a team like Texas Tech that's not used to anywhere near that kind of altitude.
And the funny thing is when Utah travels to other places where the air's thicker and more oxygen, that should benefit them,
Right.
right? It's kind of crazy. It's like you would think it's like kicking field goals in Denver.
Yes.
Right? You go to Denver,
It's just different.
the 50 or 55 yarder you might not try in Miami, you would definitely line up and try
Absolutely.
in Denver.
Yeah.
So
That's why the balls are flying out of Coors Field too, left and right. They need to make those fences
for
about
sure.
100 feet further back. So it matters to some degree. And I'm not saying that's why they win all the time, but there are subtle things like that when you go ahead with great coaching, and they're just always like, they're not always like the top rated, like highly talented kids. It's mostly all 3-star kids by and large. They might have a few 4s in there. But they don't have.
They're always upperclassmen though.
They're always upperclassmen though, right? They know how to develop kids, keep them in there. And so, they don't have a robust NIL like, Ohio State or an Alabama or anyone, but like they have something that keeps them around. And I imagine part of it's just, it's a beautiful city. Like it's a good education, and that's a good football program that people have known about for, hell, I don't know, better part of 20 years. What we know about them, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he gets kids in there. Is that Kyle Winningham, right? He gets kids in there, and they stay their whole career there. You don't get a whole lot of movement in transfer portal.
Well,
and every year he fields a veteran team because he has those kids for the full 3-4 years, 5 years, some of them. Not too long ago, he had them for 6 or 7 years because of COVID.
Yeah, Cam Rising.
Yeah, right. I can't believe he's still not playing.
I know. I thought he was going to play this year. I was disappointed not to see him.
Yeah. Just run him out a different jersey or something. But but yeah, Kyle Whittingham just got it going. He keeps them. He brings them up. They know the system inside and out, and they're fundamental. They're always a tough out, no matter who they play. They're always a tough game to win.
Well, they went down in the swamp. Was it last year, or the year before, and pulled out a W? So that was an impressive win themselves, going from there was no oxygen to we're in the swamp. I can't breathe because there's so much humidity. It's 150%
Right.
humidity. It's an impressive feat. I mean, they're a better football program than Florida is right now too. So there's that, but
Way
still.
better.
Way better, right? Yeah. So, yeah, both of us agree Utah to win that game. I think they cover, and I do agree with you that that over will be blown past. I hope so, at least, because that's one of the games I want to watch right away. It's like one of the marquee games right away in the day. So that's the noon Fox game. So next game, we don't spend a lot of time about it because there's not much probably to learn. But UAB travels to Tennessee, who are coming off a tough loss, like a kick in the balls loss to UGA. He had him on the ropes and just couldn't quite put him away. What do you want to see out of this game other than no one gets hurt? You want to see him
That's
just bounce back and play like not too sluggish. Like it's going to be a down, hard thing to come back from that crowd noise and the energy to come.
it's not gonna be there.
UAB, it's not going to be there. It's going to be hard,
It's
right?
not
I
gonna
mean,
be
like
there.
it's just not going to be there. So you're going to have to be, disciplined and play well. I think if they come out and show that okay, we can shake this off. Our goals are still in front of us this season. Let's just go out there, take care of business. Get to the second half and let's cruise. That's all I would think you'd want to see.
Yeah, I mean the top three things I want to see is no injuries, no injuries, no injuries. And
Yeah,
then the fourth thing is that show you're a veteran team. You have good leadership because that's what good leadership teams do. Is they go out and they even coming off a loss, they go out and they just take care of business. And I've had people tell me all week, we're going to win 63-10 and 59. I'm like, don't be surprised if it's a little, just the intensity can't be there every week.
right.
And this is a prime. I think this game's going to be a prime example of they're going to take care of business. They're going to roll through. I think they'll roll through a UAB like 41-10, right? And look, just kind of workmanlike. Just take care of them and let's get the hell out of here. But not be sluggish and they're in the game and by mid second quarter, this game don't need to be in doubt anymore.
Right. It may
And
be
just
28-10 at halftime. And that looks
it
like
could be
that's not scary.
just
You
right.
give up a big play, someone misses a tackle, that you get a short field on a turnover to give into UAB, and Aguilar throws 3 touchdowns, and someone runs for one, but it feels like they're right there. But reality is, within a couple drives, this game is way over. So I anticipate it's going to look like that. Now, whether they cover the 38.5. I mean, I don't know. That's
I
always a
wouldn't
big
touch it.
number. Okay, who you're playing?
Wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't touch it.
I'd be more
Uh-uh.
inclined to. Let's see. I'm trying to think. More inclined to take the over with Tennessee by itself than to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't touch those points. Tennessee plus that many, I would not touch it. Not
Right.
this game. I would not.
No.
First game,
No.
like ETSU game. Yeah,
Sure.
this game after that loss, I wouldn't touch it.
Right. I do think with Heupel, understanding and like he's been there around for a while. He's had tough losses. He's had big wins, and Aguilar's same way. Like you get your steady upperclassman senior guy. He's your leader. He's gonna keep the offense even keel. Go out there, take care of business, and
Yep.
they'll be fine. They're
Let's
no
get out of
danger
here.
to losing a game. Just get out of here, like you said, healthy. That's the most important thing. Again, Oregon State, Oregon's. I just that's going to be just a disaster.
Bloodbath.
This is this awful. Oregon will be up by 4 or 5 scores by halftime, so not much to talk about there. Florida State, not much to say there because they might. Now that I might be inclined to cover that 44.5, and certainly the 54.5. That seems like a low number. I think Florida State could put up that themselves.
They may do a 70 again like they did last week.
Well, right. They are legit, and they are out to prove last year was a fluke and the playoff thing was a joke 2 years ago. They are seemingly like just going to murder people, and that's why I cannot wait for that Miami matchup in a few weeks. That's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be spectacular. So Florida State will roll. Next game, that's next best game on the early midday slate is Auburn Tigers going down to Boomer Sooner. Or going up to Boomer Sooner, I should say, I guess.
Jackson Arnold going home.
Jackson Arnold going home. Jackson Arnold going home. It's always a story, something like that, right? Yeah. They
It'll be a
got
storyline for
Arnold.
sure.
I like Mateer. I think Oklahoma upgraded in their quarterback play. Arnold wasn't a disaster. Obviously playing pretty well for Auburn, but I think they reminded this weekend that Mateer wasn't upgrade because I like Oklahoma to win this game. They're favored by 7.5. I don't know if they covered that or not. I like them to win straight up though. I saw them up close and personal. Like I know who they are. They're
Right.
physical on defense. They're really good defensively. And Mateer is a kid that if he's not the Heisman runner, just too early to say that anyway. But he's in the top 5. He's in the conversation right now because what he can do to teams is demoralizing. Like you think you got a beat on him, a blitz, and he just sidesteps the pocket, steps up, throws a bomb, or just runs for 15, 20 yards for first down. Like he's just a gamer. He's a dog. And so that's why personally I like Oklahoma. That I think it's one of the best, not the best defense in the country, and they have top tier quarterback play. Even though their surrounding talent at wide receiver and running back is just it's okay. And you have a running back. This may be a team or a game where Mateer runs for 19 times again just to get through this another win. Like they could have took it easy on Temple. They only ran a handful of times. This might be a time where they need Mateer to be a +1. Run a lot of inside QB power or stretch or something like that. So because their running backs are just kind of okay. They just don't. They don't make a lot of noise. Like they're just average running backs.
Both teams seem to upgrade at quarterback, right? I mean,
Yeah,
because
certainly.
I
Auburn
think
did too. Yes,
Arnold,
absolutely. Yeah.
Jackson Arnold really didn't seem to fit what Brett Venables wanted to do on offense. And so he goes to Auburn and he fits like a glove in Hugh Freeze's offense. So, and Auburn's quarterback last year was not good. And so it's like Oklahoma upgraded bringing Mateer in because Jackson Arnold just didn't fit it. And Mateer fits it perfectly. And then Jackson Arnold goes to Auburn because he didn't fit Oklahoma very well, and he fits Auburn perfectly. So I think it's worked out for both those kids and both those coaches.
Absolutely.
So
right, absolutely.
this is going to be a fun one. I think it'll be a fun one. I like Oklahoma as well. Like I said, what have we said 100 times now? Seems like. Give me the home team with the better quarterback play. That's who I'll take
the fact
win.
they got a better defense too. So there's that.
Yes.
So that's a twofer. Right.
Auburn's going to ring the bell. They're going to ring the bell
a
few times, so
yes,
Oklahoma will have to play pretty well on offense because 17 points ain't winning it. I think Auburn's going to probably play to that, maybe in the low 20s. So if you're Oklahoma, you need to be mid 20s, high 20s, I think, to win the ball game because Hugh Freeze is going to have some stuff ready for that Venables defense. He's seen it before, so he'll have some wrinkles ready for it.
So was Arnold in practice last year.
He knows it better than anybody, probably.
He knows exactly. He's seen that. He knows what it is. I'm sure they have some new wrinkles for him to surprise him, but he won't be shock and awe like Bryce Underwood was a couple weekends ago, where he's like, "What is it? Was safety coming here, or where's it going over here?" There's like, it's cover 2 or is it cover 3? I don't know. So I think he'll
be more equipped.
Yes,
he'll be more equipped to deal with that for sure, and Hugh Freeze will have him ready to deal with it as well. So but in the end, Oklahoma wins, in my opinion, just because they have just better players. And so better players tend to win out. That's the reason.
Right. Something's going to give. I don't understand, I should say, what else is going in Norman, Oklahoma City area, because the tickets was as low as $30 for this. Jump on that.
Crazy.
Go get that. I'm missing something, or there's a decimal point on here that's missed or something, or 0, but that's surprising. So, all right. The next big game, mid-afternoon, this Michigan.
Hey, don't pass up that Tulane Ole Miss game.
Oh,
that's low-key game of the weekend right there.
That's absolutely, yeah, we should talk on that because
that's low-key game of the weekend.
Ole Miss gets a win against Arkansas. With backup quarterback. I don't know, is Simmons back this week? Yep. I hadn't heard officially. Okay.
I haven't heard.
Yeah. So assuming he is back. Tulane, yeah. I skip right over that because I didn't see a number in front of him, right? But that doesn't mean anything because that's a good football team. And they're going to
score.
They're going to score some points. As over under state 61.5. I think that's a legit number.
Take the over, folks.
Over. Yes.
Trust me on this.
Ole Miss does not care about defense.
Nope.
Tulane.
And then Tulane won't be able to stop Ole Miss.
Right. Exactly. So, Yeah, I think Ole Miss wins this game. I don't know if I'd like that 13.5 points. I mean, I guess, I don't know the game will play 13.5. Maybe they put a score late to reach that or put it ahead of that 13.5. But I like Ole Miss to win this game. This is a game that, again, they can't afford to lose. I mean, this is a game they're obviously favored to win by 2 touchdowns. They want to be taken seriously and put into the playoff hunt this year because they were on the verge last year and didn't quite make it. They can't lose one of these games with the rest of their schedule coming up when they got to play teams like Alabama and Oklahoma, that kind of thing. You can't afford a loss to Tulane.
No, for sure. Tulane has their own little John Mateer. His name's Jake Ratzliff. He
The
leads the team
BY
in rushing
Jew.
and yep. he leads the team in rushing and passing. Just so he's going to cause a lot of problems. If he's healthy the whole game, they're going to score. They're going to score plenty of points. But I'm like you. I'll take Ole Miss. I don't think they score enough to win. But I think it's going to be a fun one. Some trick plays and some offense. If you like offense, tune in. Lane Kiffin loves that. He loves these kind of games where he can go out and just let it hang out on offense. And just get me a stop or two is all he asks for the Ole Miss defensive coordinator, and we'll take care of the rest. Take the over and sit back and enjoy because that's going to be a track meet.
This could be a 45-30 kind of game, something like that. It'll be, if that doesn't hit the over, I mean, that means both quarterbacks are hurt, and they're pulling people from the stands to play quarterbacks.
Well, and the quarterback hurt. I mean, if assuming Simmons starts, doesn't hurt Ole Miss near as much as Tulane. Tulane's quarterback does everything. They could bring in Chambliss and he'll be just fine.
Sure, that's a good point. Yep, yeah, he played pretty well last weekend. I don't know if that
played
was
really well.
A fluke, but he looked pretty good. Took care of the ball, which is something that Simmons couldn't do or hasn't done well lately. So yeah, Ole Miss to win. I don't know about the cover, but I like to win straight up. All right, the one I try to get excited to jump to is Michigan travels to Lincoln, Nebraska for a big road game. 2:30, 3:30, if you will, on Eastern Time, CBS game. I'm gonna let you go first on this to give your thoughts. You've seen enough of both teams to get an idea. How you think it'll go?
Yeah, I hope that the Michigan coaching staff and Moore's not coaching. I think whoever's calling those shots lets Bryce Underwood have a little bit longer leash than when they went to Norman. It just felt like they really handcuffed him in that game, and hopefully after last week, how he showed out last week, they give him more leash because you're going to have it because Michigan kind of needs this one now. You drop that one, which is fine. That a lot of people's going to lose in Norman. That is what it is. But this Nebraska team's much more gettable than that team, Oklahoma team was. So I think Michigan runs the ball. I think Justice Haynes has a great game. I think they run some with Underwood, and I think they're going to let him make some more throws. And I just don't know I don't know Nebraska. I trust the Michigan defense to get more stops than I trust the Nebraska defense to get it, especially with the power run game of Michigan. So I think Michigan goes in there and wins. If Underwood plays good, just good, above average to good, I could see them winning by a couple of scores because I think the Michigan defense will lock down Nebraska. Give me Michigan. What's the?
It's Michigan favored by 1.5. The line's 1.5. It was 2.5 just yesterday, the day before. So
it wouldn't surprise me to see him win by 10. Yeah, I could see this being a 30-20 ball game. If Underwood plays just good, he ain't got to be Superman. Just go play good, solid football. Run him. Let the kid run some power, and throw the ball when you want to, not when you have to, and go score. Because I think this. I'm not a big believer in the Nebraska team, so I'll go 30-20 Michigan. I think they cover that, and I think they cover it by a couple of scores. Talk about close though on the ending here. ESPN predictor has this thing 49.7 Michigan, 50.3 Nebraska. That's how close the pundits think it's going to be. So, but give me Michigan.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to go with Michigan too for similar reasons. One of which is that While Michigan's offensive line's been a little bit in flux the first couple weekends, they did look better last weekend, even though they've had to put two different guards in. So they actually moved the ball better. Now, part of that is because they let Bryce use his legs a little bit, and you have to account for that as a defense. When you know that they're running a read option, there's no option to it. It's just a give. Then defense could just tee off right now with if assuming and they said, look, we're not going to take the air out of the ball anymore. Those are the quote. We're going to let him cook. Underwood, that is, you have to. Otherwise, again, you're putting bicycle tires on a Ferrari, and there's no sense in doing that. I'd rather they go down swinging than just to turtle and just hand the ball off on 3rd and 13 or whatever else like that. So one thing that I think that Michigan can do, and something that Cincinnati did pretty well, is run the ball, and that is partly due, I think, because the interior line on Nebraska, especially their defensive tackle, is only 270 pounds. So you got a light guy like that. I'm not saying they're going to run it down their throat immediately, but eventually that tackle is going to. He's got someone who's weighing 310, 320 leaning on him for 3 or 4 quarters. You got Justice Haynes, who's quietly showing to be one of the top 5 running backs perhaps in the country. What he can do to you on the ground. He's got some pass blocking issues a little bit, so he's a little inconsistent there. But like as far as running the ball, he's been lights out basically. He's got touchdowns called back to a holding that wasn't part of the play. He's showing speed, power. I mean, that was just. I keep talking about him because he was like worth every dime that they gave him, whatever that was, to get him an NIL. So
Lots.
Lots. So one other thing that I think that I like Michigan for is that what they did a lot in 21 and 22 and 23 with Mike McDonald and Jesse Minter as D coordinators is they have enough studs at corner that they can man you up and just you're not going to beat as deep. We have excellent safety play. Michigan doesn't have the excellent safety play now, or corner play now. They're actually a little thin there. Safety play is good to solid. What they do a good job of now and keeping everything in front of them, right? And that's one thing that Nebraska has struggled with is red zone offense. They're like 74th in the country in red zone efficiency offense. So that's where can Nebraska sustain 8, 10, 12 play drives, take care of the ball, and get an end zone. That's where I like Michigan to either make them, kick field goals or, go for it in spots where they really wouldn't want to go for it. I think Michigan wins this and covers that 1.5, which wouldn't be a hell of a lot. They may put a score in late to put it away. It's hard to know for sure until I see it, like what they're really going to do. Is this all just like a show about what we're going to say Bryson's going to do, we're going to let him do, or are you actually going to let him do it? Or is it going to be like Norman, or like last weekend? Those are two different things. You were not trying to win, Norman. You're trying to survive. Now you want to go to Lincoln, Nebraska. You need to just play out, win. Let Bryce make a mistake throwing the ball down the field against Central Michigan, where he should have hit the under receiver rather than taking the deep shot. That's fine. Let that be a benefit this weekend, and what you didn't do, and Norman. So I do like them to win this game. I think they're more talented, top to bottom, than Nebraska as well. I think Raiola's a nice quarterback, but he's not a guy that runs. Like they did run him a couple times. Like he got a 3rd and short little scramble, but he's only ran like 4 or 5 times all year. And their offensive line, I think, is really good, but it's hard to say because the last 2 games, there's been no pressure. He's only been pressured like 17% of the dropbacks this year. So that's nothing.
That'll change Saturday.
You don't know. That's going to change, right? So how he reacts to that pressure, we'll see like where he's at in his sophomore year. Because, he played pretty well against Cincinnati, but people forget Cincinnati had a chance to win that game. They threw 2 really costly interceptions, one of which was late when they were driving. And also there was a couple interceptions that were dropped by Raiola in that game that could have turned things around too. So I think we're going to learn more about both teams. Like this is not for Nebraska, this is like Matt Rhule 3rd year. This is where they start to blossom. This has been a 10-year slide they've lost 27 games in a row against top 25 opponents. Like all these things are against them. They lose all these close games. Like they need this to move forward. Like to say, look, we're coming around. We finally beat a top 25 team, a team that Michigan's not a great team, but a good team. We could show we could hang with the good teams and beat them. Whereas Michigan kind of like you said earlier, they kind of need this win because you can't look at the rest of your schedules playing at USC, Washington at home, at Ohio State, and think, oh, we're going to cruise through this. No, if you
No.
really want to get in the playoffs, you have to win these games. You go down to Norman, you put up a decent fight, even though you were like, just playing tiddlywinks. You had chances to be in that game. So take what you learned from that. This is going to be a pretty hostile environment, but it ain't going to be worse than Norman at 7 o'clock at night. I'll tell you that.
Not at all. And you hope, if you're a Michigan fan, that you actually see some progress from that game to this game.
Yes.
You're going to notice, you're going to see on TV live that he's doing better now. He's learned from that. You don't want to see the same Bryce Underwood you've seen then. You want to see a noticeably improved Bryce Underwood, because he's going to have to get there, because that schedule you just said, if he's not good enough to go in and beat this Nebraska team, then the rest
He's
of the
going to
year
Westwood,
right. Yeah, the rest of the year gets really, really difficult if you're a Michigan fan, as far as expecting wins and where you're going to find them. He's got to take the step. He needs, and it ain't great. He don't have to be great. He just has to be better than he was in Norman.
Right.
Just make a step, get better this game,
right.
Be better. And then by the time you get to USC, you'll be noticeably better than you're going to get Bryce Underwood in this game. You just want to see him get better. And then at the end of the year, you want to see him be good. You want to see him be a good quarterback.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So take what they're giving you. Like the last couple of weeks, the corners are just sitting way off Michigan's receivers, and they're like not taking that easy 7 yards. You throw the ball up to the flat quick, you're going to get half dozen yards, maybe more if you make a guy miss. Take those. Don't get bored with taking what the easy throw is, or the easy route, or the easy play. Don't get bored with that. And hopefully Chip Lindsey, keeps mixing it up with like this heavy personnel, which is 11 personnel. Or 23 personnel, or they're going to spread out stuff and let it be 4 or 5 wide, and that's more of a like, all right, we're going to probably run the ball here, so unless you better have a spy on this on Underwood, because he's gonna run.
Who's the interim head coach till Moore gets back?
It's Biff Poggi. He's like he's like an assistant head coach. I'm not exactly sure what his title is, but he's the guy that Harbaugh hired probably about, I don't know, not 10 years ago, probably something like that. His kid played for Michigan as a tight end, like a halfback. And Poggi was a high school coach in the D.C. area. Great with kids, like just, great recruiter, but also like a mentor. Like he's a guy you can ask. He'll tell you, Jim needed that guy because you need a guy that tells you, you're an idiot. What are you doing? You can't make this call. You can't do this. Whereas your coordinators are less likely to do that, right? You need to have someone who can tell you when you're wrong. Poggi is that, and so Moore wisely brought him back this year, because Poggi went to Charlotte to be a head coach for a couple of years. It just didn't work out. Like he's just not. But it's a guy that last weekend, obviously Moore couldn't be there this week with putting the game plan in, but they've been working on this game plan for months. They knew he was going to be suspended for this Nebraska game. It's not like, oh, well, we'll start Nebraska week this week. No, they've been thinking about this what this game's going to look like and what they need to do. So, it will be funny if Michigan comes out and just goes nuts and, lets Underwood do his thing. And we're like, well, can the NCAA like suspend a few more games? Because this is going pretty well.
Well, hopefully, if you're Moore, which he'll definitely be watching this game, right? I mean, he'll be tuned in, and if that does happen, let's say that it does, and they go in and they roll, he needs to have a heart to heart with himself. Like, okay,
yes,
that's who we want to be. When I get back, I'm going to make sure that's who we still are.
Right. Be who you are. Like, you have to be Harbaugh anymore. You don't have to try to be Lloyd Carr. You don't try to be. Please don't be Randy Hoka or Rich Rod. Be who you are, right? You went to go get Bryce Underwood, right? You put all your eggs in his basket, and it's fruitful. It's worth it. So let him be who he is. Like, you saw the kid in high school. There's a reason they call him this kid like the next Trevor Lawrence kind of talent. Like, don't stifle him. And you have to protect him a little bit because you don't want him to lose confidence. But this kid's just different. Like, he has fun. He's always laughing and smiling and having fun. And he's real thoughtful and respectful kid. Like, he's a great leader already as a barely 18-year-old kid. So just let him be who he is, right? You got him for 3 years. Let him blossom now. Don't hold him back anymore like you did 2 weeks ago. Let him
The
go.
the goal
I'd rather
this
they
year
go
for
down swinging.
Michigan, yeah, the goal this year for Michigan is to make him. He needs to grow as fast as he can possibly grow this year because, and like you said in like the last couple episodes, I forget when it was, but you're the idea with Bryce Underwood is not this year. The idea with
Mm-mm.
Bryce Underwood is a year, maybe next year or year 3
That's junior
to
year,
really
yeah. Mm-hmm.
think about making a run for another title. That's
Right.
when all this pays off. Playing him, letting him run, letting him throw the ball downfield, letting him do it now because he'll learn and be better then.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is we're looking to 26 and 27 in particular with recruits from the offensive line for the 27 kids that should be ready by then. Some of the skill guys that should have ready and brought in by then. But right now, the landscape of college football is enough where you can take a shot, and if you can get in the playoffs, who knows?
It's
Like, what if you get a good matchup? You can go for a
all
run,
about the
and
draw.
your defense plays well. So this is where you can learn who you are as a coach and a program when you're a step or two or several steps back from where you were 2 years ago in the title season. So optimistic watching that game, but also like I've seen Michigan go into places and just fall apart over the years. But hopefully that's changed this year. So, all right, enough about that. Purdue going to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, we talk about team needs a win. Like, I suspect they're going to get it, but you're sitting at 0-2 and still sitting there in the top 25 somehow. Purdue is putting up a fight more so than under Barry Odom than they have the previous few years under Ryan Walters, but they're still a long ways away from competing. Notre Dame 25.5. I mean, seems about right. I just don't see Purdue putting up, you know, more than, a couple touchdowns against this Notre Dame team. I gather Notre Dame knows that they have no more room for error, if they even have any room for error at all. Like they may be out of it no matter what they do. So you might as well go after it, do what you could do, control the controllables, put up as many points as you can and win the games and just hopefully you get a break late, beat
Well, and
USC, something like that. If it's USC
yep,
is a good team late, like
that's
they're going to need USC to be good. They're going to need
yep.
like Syracuse to be competent or NC State. Pick a team. They're going to need someone else to be
They're going to need a
um,
signature win,
reasonable.
and
Yeah.
USC is the one out there that they may get, that they have a chance to get. And if you're Notre Dame, even though they would never admit it to you, but
Hmm.
me and you know this to be true. If they get to 10-2, there's a great shot they make that playoff because people love
Notre Dame.
watching them to Notre Dame. That's right. So they bring the eyeballs. So if they can just get the 10-2, if they can win, I don't think they win out though. I mean, the way they've looked, I
Be
just don't
surprised.
see it. Me too. But
Right.
let's just say they do. They'll sneak in. They'll sneak in that. They'll backdoor that number 11 or 12 seed somehow.
Yep. Absolutely. I would not be surprised at all. All right. I anticipate Georgia Tech come off a big win against Clemson to take care of kind of a bad Temple team. I suspect that's the game they cruise through. I don't know if, 23.5 is a lot for a game where they, that's a big come down off. It's like whether you win or lose, it's hard to kind of regain that for a UAB or a Temple. It's hard to do that, but I don't see them faltering. This is not a game. This is not a coaching staff. Brent Key's not going to let them lose a game to Temple after a huge win last weekend. So they're just too well coached and too talented at quarterback and running back. So South Carolina, Missouri.
Sellers are going
Should
to
be a
play.
good
They're
game.
saying
Sellers are going to play.
that's what they're
Yeah, I
saying.
mean,
We'll see.
you have to clear concussion for like 6 days, like no symptoms for 6 days. So he must have got the clear. Basically, last symptom was like Saturday or maybe Sunday to be able to play this weekend. Because if you have a symptom on like Monday or Tuesday, the clock resets. So I'm gathering that he's done well. I hope that's the case. Missouri is kind of sneaky good. I'm not sure
They
we can say
are.
sneaky much more. They're a damn good
Yep.
football team.
They are. They are good, and the running back for Missouri. I should have wrote all these down because I read about him today, but he may be the best back in the SEC,
He
and that no one
one of the
talks
best in the
about.
country, maybe. No,
Yep.
absolutely not. No. Yep. Yeah, he's good. I like Bro Perbula at quarterback. He's playing really well. He's a guy that can get on the field at Penn State, but I could argue he's as good of a passer as Drew Aller is. Certainly a better runner than Aller. So good fit for Mizzou. They did a great job of going out and grabbing the right kid for their system, and it's paying off so far. I like Mizzou to win this game. South Carolina, even if Sellers was healthy, I don't think they're going to win that game against Vandy last weekend. They made that game a bit closer, maybe, but I don't think they're going to win that. I just worry that he's still not 100%, and that's going to be tough to travel to Columbia
There's
to Columbia.
no one else on that South Carolina offense scares you besides Sellers. And if he don't play, there's not a single
Right.
player on
Nick Harbor,
offense that
maybe,
scares
but
you.
he's going to get in the
Yeah,
ball. Nick Harbor's
right.
great. He's going to get in the ball, though, right? I mean, I don't know.
You're
That's it.
yeah. He can't do from the wide receiver position. He can't do enough to beat Missouri. Not
No,
from
he's
there.
not, absolutely. No.
So,
No.
yeah, I'm like you, Missouri. And if Sellers don't play, Missouri big.
Big, way more than 9.5. I think they cover
Oh
that
yeah,
9.5 anyway. I think they're a better team, generally speaking, and I think they cover that 9.5. So
that Kansas win's a huge win for them. That Kansas win
yes,
springboards them right on into, Missouri could be 8-9 win ball team this year.
absolutely. I anticipate they will actually. Absolutely, yeah. All right, next game. We talked at the top of the show before we got going about where game day is going to be this weekend, and it's going to be in Miami Gardens. They decided going to see Florida. Miami is the best place to take their services.
Who's
I
making these
gather
decisions?
I gather it's because the producers just wanted some time on South Beach.
Fair.
After being where were they at last weekend? They were in Knoxville.
Yep.
Knoxville's a great place, different place.
Sure.
It's going to South Beach is just a little different. Different atmosphere. Boy, if you're
Maybe
a
they just want
Florida
to go to the
fan,
funeral.
they could say they were there, right? That's going to be the
Yeah.
talk of the whole 90 minutes of game day. Is like, oh, how bad is Miami going to win? What's Florida going to do when this mud hole stomped? Boy, that's going to be a ticket, $150. If you're a Miami fan, that's worth every penny to go see them just stomp Florida, their teeth out. And I'm missing something because how is that line only 9.5
I
for
have
Miami?
no idea. Somebody knows something that we don't know, and I don't know what that is. Maybe
That's a
Carson
big
Beck
something.
has been busted for coke running to Cuba or something. Maybe
Right.
he was on one of the Venezuelan boats we blew up in the ocean.
That's a
I
good
don't.
point. Oh, yeah.
I can't explain it. It should. If I was setting that line, it would be 20.5 at least.
Yeah.
Because Miami is
Great.
going to roll. But the only hope Florida has is Miami thinks that too,
Yes.
and they're kind of flat because the environment's not all that difficult in Hard Rock Stadium. It's just
Right.
not.
No, it's not.
It's
No.
not a home field advantage per se. For Miami, yeah, there'll be more Miami fans than Florida fans because no Florida fan in their right mind's going to go to that game knowing what's
No.
going to happen.
No.
So the only hope they have is if Miami thinks we're going to do what everyone else says that Miami's going to do to them, and if that's in their
Right.
head and they kind of play flat and they don't and they let Florida hang around and gain some confidence, Lagway plays well, anything can
Doesn't throw
happen.
5 interceptions.
Yeah. If he's
Absolutely.
not throwing it to Miami and they're in that ball game in the fourth with a chance to drive and win it, just weird things happen, and
Weird
you ain't
things
got to worry
happen.
about the noise. You just go out there and play. So that's the only way Florida stays in this game. If Miami's sharp, there's no way they play with Miami.
Just not staying within 3 scores probably
Yeah,
if Miami
for
plays
sure.
like they have been.
Yeah.
That's going to be a beating. The only thing so Beck knowing what pressure looks like and what big games look like and how you prepare for big games and how you play down to big games, he can say, I've been there, I can do it. A lot of these Miami kids don't know how to handle this. We're number 4, we're looking good, we're playing really well. You hope that he's a calming presence for that Miami offense and the team in general. I anticipate this being a bloodbath. If it's not, I'll be very surprised. It'll be because, Beck played really poorly. Miami defense is really, really good this year. They're not as good as the LSU defense probably, but they're not a hell of a lot far behind, I don't think, either, from what I've seen.
Well, they didn't have anywhere to go but up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
and
true.
they could
That's
only
true.
go up. So
Right. So this would be huge in the state for recruiting and, job security for Cristobal and lack thereof for Napier. I do think, and I've been saying it for 3 weeks now, this is it. This is Napier's last game at Florida. I do think after this game was over, they let him go either Sunday or Monday because Florida has a bye the next weekend, the 27th. So I think that's a good time to move on, find an interim coach, and, just plan for the future. Now, I guess they could do someone did this not too long ago, like say, look, Napier, we're going to let go. Can you coach the rest of the year? We'll give you $3 million. Whatever it is. They should go get Ed Orgeron just to let him coach out for the last 9 games or whatever, 8
DJ
games.
Dagway, football.
That'd be football. We're going to give you a couple million, coach. Just we're not going to hire you. I mean, this is not going to happen. But just do your thing. Go win a game you probably shouldn't. Maybe lose a game you probably should. And just get us through this season until we could find someone. Distract the fans so we could go find a coach. Please do that.
I don't know that Napier. I mean, if you did that for Napier, I don't know his ego would let him lame duck the rest of the year. Like
Sure.
I don't
Right.
I don't
That'd be
see-
hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to cut ties, you cut them. You don't
Just
let him
do it.
hang around and take a beating all year and then kick him out the door. Now, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
If it happens, totally cool with me.
I
Totally
don't know.
cool
There's
with me.
a certain game in late November that
Yes.
you'd be interested in.
Yes, for sure. So I'm okay with it. But I'm like you. I think the only way he makes it to this weekend is either they win or they have a chance to win it in the fourth, and they're in that game. If it's 41-10, he gone.
Yeah. Right.
If it's 30-31 and you miss a field goal, or they kick a field goal or score a touchdown late to beat you,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe it's
it's a stay of
survivable. Right.
execution then, yeah, maybe. But I'm like you. I think this is the time. If you're going to pull the trigger, this is the time to do it.
Assume it's not a field goal that they give up late because someone committed a personal foul for spitting on someone or throwing a shoe down halfway
Well,
down the
there's that.
field.
Yep.
Those are kind of discipline things. That would get you
Yes.
fired, I would think. That's
For
going to catch up
sure.
to you eventually.
Yeah,
So
for
anyway,
sure.
both
So
those things have happened if you didn't know.
you want a great stat? I posted this to our Facebook page. Did you see it?
No.
Billy Napier would have to win 28 straight games to accomplish the winning percentage Dan Mullen had. And Dan Mullen got fired.
I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I would bet all my life savings, my children's arms and legs. He couldn't win 28 games in a row if he had the 2006 Florida team with Tebow.
Nope. No chance.
Not happening. That's incredible. But they certainly give him the longest leash you could ever imagine, right?
Well,
So
and we talked about it a few weeks ago. That AD and that interim president, the administration's a shit show at Florida.
yes,
Everyone knows this. It's a dumpster fire. So that probably has a lot to do with the leash that he gets, because the
Sure.
decision has to come from someone to go ahead and make
There-
that happen. And whoever makes that happen may not be making the hire.
right.
Because when
right.
a president gets brought in that's going to be the actual president, not the interim, they're going to want an AD who's going to want a coach. So who knows how long that goes
lame
on.
duck.
So it's like everyone's in limbo. No one wants to make a decision, because I don't know if I'm going to be here next week. I don't know if I'll be next year. When am I leaving? They hire a president. Am I out of here? Am I looking for a job? There's so much that's going into that. It's like they're just floating along aimlessly.
Sure. Right.
So
That must be palpable in that athletic department, that the coaches' offices and such. And it's like the Spider-Man one where we all look like each other. Like, no, you do it. Who's going to do it? I'm going to. No, you're going to do it. Like that's what it looks like.
And the way
in the
that
hallways.
administration is down there, Delaney, it wouldn't shock me at all to see Florida go 3-9 and Napier coach all year and not be fired until all that happens above him.
Till
And
January 2nd.
Yes, and he just coaches the whole year.
That would be something. That would be something. That would be like that would be the final nail in that program's coffin for a couple of years. I don't care what your NIL looks like. I don't care. Like that's tough to come back from. Although if you're a coach, like hell, I might as well go there. I can go there with basically immunity for 4 years and just look like crap.
If you're Lane Kiffin,
They're
you
just
take
letting
that
me do my
job.
thing. I think you do. I mean, Ole Miss is what it is, right? This is the peak of Ole Miss. What they may get there this year, you're talking about a 10-2 is like a
That's the
banner year
benchmark.
for them.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
And to make
Right.
the playoff, that's what you
that's
gotta
hard
be.
to get there. That's hard to get there, right? At Ole Miss, it just is, right? You go to Florida, you have more resources, you have more talent around you. You can recruit just in the state, or like you said, Georgia and Alabama, southern states. You have a school that, in theory, will have the money to spend NIL. So I think you take that job. That's the next step up for you, right? You failed at USC. you're doing well you failed miserably at Tennessee. Now you're doing pretty well at Ole Miss. The next step is to a bigger
Right.
program.
He's never going to win a national championship in Ole Miss.
No, right.
Ole Miss fans know. College football fans in general know. I'm betting Lane Kiffin probably knows too.
Yes.
Oh, I'm like you. It'd be really tough to turn that down, but I will say he's got a damn good gig. He's
He's got
getting
a good
paid
gig
big
there.
money. He could go out, win 8, 9, 10 games a year, and they adore him. They love him in Oxford.
They'll put a
His
statue up
family's
in
in
Oxford if you do that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, if he was to make a playoff and make a run national championship game, they would. They'd name streets after him. I mean, it would be a total different thing for him. And so in Florida, that don't get it done. In Florida, you get fired for that.
No.
So it's a whole
Right.
different. But like you said, the resources are better. You're going to win a title in Florida. You may very well. You're just never going to win it in Ole Miss, no matter. It's just not the same caliber of program.
Right.
So, but now everything's stable in Ole Miss, where you're walking
Yes.
in, like I said, you're walking into a forest fire when you go to Florida.
Yeah.
So
if you're him, I'm like, all right, who's the president? Who's the AD? If you can't answer those questions easily, then maybe I'm okay for another year or two. Like, he's a young guy, like he's got it made there. And that's not to say he couldn't get in the playoff and win a game, make a small run. I just don't think they have the horses. They're never gonna have the horses to make a deep run in the playoff where you have to win, 3 or 4 games against, Ohio State or Miami. All these teams are just gonna be loaded with talent top to bottom. You're not going to get lucky and get a lucky bounce 3, 4, 5 games. It's not going to happen. Just
one of the best Ole Miss teams there's ever been didn't make the playoff last year.
Yeah.
One of the best ones there's ever been in Oxford, and they didn't make the playoff last year. Got beat by this coach in Florida and this Florida program last year. So that's just what, like you said, that's just what they are. They're never, and if they do make a playoff, they're not long to be in it. Long as it's just not. It's just they just don't have the horses. They don't have the horsepower to go and do something like that. So.
No, it's really no. Well, speaking of playoffs, we got 2 teams here. The 7:30 Eastern NBC Peacock game. Who would thought we'd be talking about number 9 Illinois, number 19 Indiana?
That gets my vote for
early season.
That gets my vote for a game they should have been.
Of all the places, I doubt they've been to Bloomington, Indiana very often, if ever. I'm sure they've been to Miami a few times, which Miami's, a little more interesting than Bloomington. I understand Bloomington's a beautiful campus, but it's just different. But yeah, this is going to be a better game, right? Both teams have played, well, really well. The only team that's been kind of tested though is Illinois when they went to play Duke, and that's a Duke team that just liked to hand the ball to them over and over. So they've got a little talent. I mean, a little battle tested with what they have for talent. Illinois does. Indiana's not been tested at all. I like Illinois to win this game. I know they're favored, or I use favored by 6.5. I think that's a big number. Like, I think this will be a good game. 52.5. I'd probably lean towards taking the under. I just think Illinois' defense is better than anything Indiana's played, and so that might be surprising. But I like Illinois to win this game straight up. They're just playing so well on both sides of the ball. Complementary, they can run the ball. Their defense is playing really well. And if your defense can travel to Bloomington and keep Indiana, somewhat reasonable, maybe in the 20s, I think they got a shot to win this game. I think they do. Illinois wins this.
Yeah, give me Illinois as well. I love Altmaier, as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Not game in Indiana.
Ole Miss kid.
It's going to be as lit as what Indiana's stadium can be, I guess. So it's, but I don't think it's going to be a hostile environment, but I think it'll be fun. I said, I think game day missed the mark here. I don't know who Illinois plays next weekend or in 2 weeks, and same with Indiana. That would make me think, well, let's not go see those guys yet because we're going to go be seeing them whenever.
Well, I doubt they're going to go to. I mean, I guess they could go to Champaign for the USC game. Next, and that's the next weekend. Yes. So, but I don't know. Like that's.
But they got to win the game first.
They got to win the game first.
You can't make that. You can't make that decision based on they've not even won the game that sets that up. You're going to make that decision, and they've not even won the game at Indiana yet. What if Indiana wins?
Exactly.
At Iowa? No. At Oregon?
At
maybe.
Iowa, yeah.
but that's 2
Yeah, the
weeks down the road.
Oregon, that's too far away. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it is
So
this weekend. I'm going to be at that Iowa Indiana game, so I'd love to see game day there, just selfishly, but I don't anticipate them going to Iowa
they're
City
not going
with a
there.
bad Iowa
No,
team. Yeah,
no, they'll wait and go to Oregon. Now that's the right call.
yeah,
If
that's
you're
the right
thinking about
call.
going
Right,
to if you're worried about going to Indiana, no, you don't go. You wait till they go to Oregon, you go to Oregon because that's going to be a huge
right.
game. So
Right. These two teams both need this to say, look, no, we're legit playoff contender. Or Indiana, like, no, last year wasn't a fluke. We were in the playoff. They both kind of need that signature win, especially this early on in the season, where we're trying to figure out who they are, really. So,
I hope one of them hosts.
um,
I know last year we were hoping they would get the 9 seed and we would be the 8 and we would get to go to Indiana. Or to flip that, they would be the 8, we would be the 9, and we would have got to go to Bloomington, Indiana, and play. And that would have been. I would have probably tried to make that trip because I think hosting a football game, hosting a playoff game is somewhere like Bloomington, Indiana, Champaign, Illinois, smaller schools, non-traditional ones. It's that powerhouses. That's pretty cool, man. I like that. I like that.
plus those places will. I mean, there's already energy when you're in Columbus, Ohio. There's crazy energy, like when Tennessee was there last weekend. But you go to somewhere like Champaign or Bloomington, like they aren't used to that, so the energy would be ramped up more levels, like this the local media, the local fans. It just brings in more energy and a more excitement. So that's the best part about on campus football and why games should always be on campus, whether it's early season games that are not in Dublin, Ireland, or playoff games that should be always on campus until maybe the
Semifinals
title
or
games would
something,
be the
maybe.
Rose Bowl. So Rose Bowl
Yeah,
should be where the title. That's my opinion, but
I wouldn't be
not the
against that.
Peach Bowl or whatever.
You could sell
Right.
me on that for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't take much with it. So, all right, Vandy's going to go to 4-0. I think that's enough to say about that. I think Georgia State maybe upset them last year, so we're going to just put Vandy at 4-0 and keep cruising along. LSU, obviously, they should cruise here. I'm not completely convinced that you can't even get a line on this, by the way, that they are legit juggernaut offense. Even if they show that they are here, I'm not going to believe it until they really show it. I only put
Yeah,
up 10
spoiler
against
alert.
Florida last weekend.
Spoiler alert, you couldn't bet them on the money line or
No,
the
exactly
picks.
right.
Wouldn't let you.
Yeah, so
Same
we'll
with the
get to
next
that in a
game
minute.
too.
Yeah, same with the next game, Texas, Sam Houston State. You talk about a guy who needs to get stuff right now with his whatever's going on with Arch. He can't wait until Red River in a couple weeks to sort out whatever's going on with him, whether it's an injury or he just got the yips or whatever it is. They need to get this sorted out now, or Red River is going to be a battle anyway. You do not want to go in there with a quarterback that's not super confident, and you get a Brent Venables defense just teeing off on you, who's got a great defense and showing you different looks you're not used to. So that's a game in that Texas needs to look good, and Arch needs to turn it around. And maybe this, like you said last week, like he's going to turn it around and start playing better. He kind of needs to do it this week to get some confidence going into
Carry it into
the Red
Florida
River
and then
and
be
then
ready for Oklahoma.
Florida River. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, they obviously got Florida first too, which that may be with a lame duck or an interim coach, but still, that going in the swamp is it's not easy no matter what. So they need to sort this out and just play better, look competent, take care of the ball, hit the open reads. He's missing bad throws,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
either you're not seeing stuff or your shoulder is hurting or your ribs are hurting, because those are not even close. You're bouncing the ball in front of Ryan Wingo when he can just take it to the house for you to get the ball in a decent placement for him. So yeah, so we agree Texas will roll and win and probably cover this 39.5, but it doesn't matter unless Arch looks competent. They could run the ball for 500 yards. Who cares? Does Arch look like is he 9 for 28 and throws for 115 yards
against Sam Houston?
Yeah, like this is you talk about Red River, where you better worry about actually going to Florida, then Red River, and the rest of the season.
This might be a game where Steve Sarkisian is like, listen, we're going to throw it way more than we probably ought to throw it, but we need to be throwing it and figuring this passing game out because there's stormy waters ahead. And so we gotta get this fixed now. Sorry, Sam Houston, but we might throw for 700 yards, but we got to do something, figure it out,
right?
Because we're going to Gainesville, then we got Oklahoma on the horizon. We've got to figure something out.
I will be watching that game a little bit just to see how things unfold that first half, because the natives and the DKR are going to be a little restless if they see Arch still throwing the ball at people's feet and stuff. They're going to be like, what
Yeah.
is going on here?
Right.
So I'll be peeking at that game a little bit once in a while.
Next one too.
In between, yeah, absolutely. So
I'm gonna
this
try to
one I'll
stay up with
watch.
this.
Like it's not happening. You're not going to be able to do that
Maybe
because
not.
this game
But
is kicking off at 11 Eastern time. That's Michigan State. East Lansing is an Eastern time zone. They're kicking off 11 Eastern time, which welcome to the Big Ten. This is the Big Ten crazy games at night. This used to be a Pac-10 at night, Pac-12 at night. It's the Big Ten, Pac-12, whatever, Big Ten, I guess, at night now. Michigan State traveling to the Coliseum. This number is pretty big, USC 18.5, but I kind of like that. I've watched all of Michigan State play this year. I mean, they're improved, I think, this year. By the way, I think Jonathan Smith's a good coach. I don't know if he's long for there. I don't know if he's a good fit for that program. He doesn't hate Michigan enough, I think, is part of the thing. He's too good of a guy. He's too nice of a guy. He doesn't really fit well there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't look at that UCLA job, by the way. He's a West Coast guy, so that wouldn't be surprised.
okay.
So they're playing better. Aiden Childs has played better as a quarterback. He still makes some like head scratching decisions. They're going to be without probably their best wide receiver, and Nick Marsh, who's a kid that if you haven't seen him play, he's a stud. He's absolutely a gamer. They've got at least 2 offensive linemen that they're going to be replacing, one of which is going to be lost for a good chunk of the year. I don't see them going to the Coliseum and winning there against a USC team who we think are probably pretty good and maybe really good. We just don't know because we haven't seen them play anybody outside of a Purdue team that's probably pretty bad still too, right? So this would be a good test for USC a little bit because Michigan State, though they can't run the ball very well, they can throw the ball a little bit, even without Marsh, because they do have a good tight end as well. But this is more like, all right, do you have a better? Is D'Anton Lynn's defense? Is it year 2? Is it going to be better? I mean,
they go up 40 to BC.
This is a good test for that. That's
so. Lincoln Riley might go for
Lincoln
60.
Riley is not. He knows that like his team, and his offense can score. Like it's whether the defense they implemented with Lynn that is Ravens like kind of defense, the same kind of defense that Michigan runs under like Martindale and the last 2 guys mentor. So that's tough for you to bring in a guy and implement an NFL style defense and have it go perfectly well year 1, right? And this is a big change for them. These kids are asked to do things they're maybe not able to do, never been asked to do before. Last year, Michigan got a little bit of trouble with that because Wink Martindale's been in the NFL for 20 years, and he's asking kids who are 18, 19 to do things that 25-year-old linebackers in the NFL can do easily. Some of these kids just can't move like that. They can't register that. So I wonder if SC has had similar issues last year because while they were improved, they still were pretty bad by and large last year. So we'll see if this year 2 they can make a jump. Because they have some talent. Like they're recruiting really well on both sides of the ball. And that's even without Zachariah Branch, which that could have been really deadly. But they got Mekhi Lemon. They got some other studs at wide receiver that are, draft pick kind of kids.
I think it was last week we said they may have the best offense of college football.
We did say that, yes.
Jade Maiava, ain't that the quarterback's name? Yeah, from Hawaii.
Yes, yep.
That dude is good, and no one talks about him because they're way out there playing at 11 o'clock kickoffs.
That's exactly right. So, and they haven't played anybody yet to care about, right?
No, for sure.
Next weekend they go to Champaign, Illinois, so that's going to be like a mid-afternoon game. Yeah, so if you're an Illinois fan, even after win or lose against this IU team, they get USC and Memorial Stadium, so that's a fun. That's also like another good reason, like merging a conferences is good, selfishly for people like you and I, because we're going to see these games. I want to see Illinois play USC, not Illinois play Northwestern for sure every year. Like they do because it's a rivalry, but like I don't want to see Northwest or Illinois play whatever Iowa every year, which is kind of a rival, but that's not just like I don't care about that. Like I want to see Auburn and Oklahoma play because they're in the same conference, not just once in a while, but like every couple of years or so. Like it's good for the sport. But we've talked about that a lot. So yeah, I like USC to win this game. I think they cover that 18.5 too. I just don't see Michigan State putting up enough points to stay in this track meet. And
What's the over under there?
they get 55.5. See, Michigan State struggled with last weekend with Youngstown State. That game was 34-20 in the fourth before Michigan State kind of put that away. And they needed either one or two overtimes to beat a pretty mediocre Boston College team. So I just don't see them be able to hang with SC. If they do, that's going to be a great win for Jonathan Smith at Michigan State, because that's going to be a tough road, and he might just while he's out there, That's I thought so too.
Seems
right?
low. Like
I
that's
can see
playing
USC putting up 45 points itself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I could see him playing in the 30s easy. And I mean, you're saying that game's will get played in the high 20s? I don't think it stays there. Not for USC anyway.
No, absolutely not USC, because that Michigan State defense is still struggle in pass defense, and that's not a good place to go fix your defense, your secondary.
Nope.
In the Coliseum. So that's I actually like watching USC in general. Their team line I've enjoyed watching over the years. So I'll enjoy this. Will stay up and watch this one, because this will be enjoyable to see a probable beating. Very enjoyable. So, all right, those are the big games of the weekend. Is the other games you want to touch on? Those are the top 25 games. I think we hit on all the major ones. Are there any other ones we maybe omitted?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, okay. I think we covered them all good. And I just was looking here at just some notes, and one thing just kind of throwing out there is the TV numbers. CBS is now associated with the Big Ten, as we all know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How do you think that's going?
It's strange, frankly, right? Because 30 years ago, maybe less, a little bit more, Michigan was on CBS and Big Ten was on CBS a fair amount. But the last, 15, 20 years, that's been the SEC network, basically.
96
while I
started.
Is it no? So okay, so about 30 years, not quite 30 years. Okay, yeah, 96 to last year, I guess. So just under 30 years. It's just a strange thing. I like it because I think Brad Nessler is a good play-by-play call. I could take or leave Gary Danielson. This is a little nerdy, but I think that the camera shots and the cinematography, if you will, of the way CBS shoots games is beautiful. There's great depth of field on their close-up shots, on their field shots. So I think they do a good job. It just feels strange still. It feels unnatural. But also, at the same time, I just don't like Fox. Their network in general, whether it's NFL or college, it's just, I don't know. I
don't enjoy their coverage.
Kind of cornball.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy their coverage. It's just kind of cornball graphics, and it's just trying too hard. Peacock NBC has been okay. I Noah Eagles and Todd Blackledge do a good job. I think it's just strange. I think it's just because we're just used to ESPN and the Big Ten Network and the SEC Network for the last few years have been all that we've really, and CBS, all we've known. Everyone's kind of staying in their own lanes, and so you got a Big Ten team traveling to, Auburn, like Penn State went to Auburn. That game's going to be CBS. Well, if Texas goes to Ohio State, well, that's going to be on Fox, right? So it's just strange to see that there's Big Ten games on mid-afternoon. It almost feels wrong.
It does, right? Because it feels weird watching it. It does. I'm with you. Yes. Now, I think both conferences probably won. I think both, I don't know how much CBS is, because it was with the SEC so long. But I'm like you, it just feels weird watching. And that's what, watching Saturday is like, man, it just, this was Tennessee and Georgia. I just hear the CBS music on the intro.
Yes,
because that's what it's always been. And Lundqvist is up there calling the game with Danielson.
Vern Lundqvist, yes,
and,
right.
Yeah, and so it's just, and so that's why I asked, because I was watching this weekend and I was like, man, and I meant to bring this up actually Monday during the show and I forgot, but that's why I wrote it down this time. It's got a whole different feel to it now, for sure.
Sure does. No. Right. It absolutely. Maybe we'll get used to it, I guess, right, over time. But it's like a primetime game that ESPN's doing in Knoxville with Georgia at 3:30 Eastern. No, that's supposed to be at 7:30 at night, not at the middle afternoon on CBS. Like, that's where it gets confusing. Like, oh, it's a CBS game? No, it's an ESPN game. It's a primetime game. What are you talking about? Primetime ESPN's at 6:30, 7 o'clock. This
I
doesn't
remember the
jive. So
ESPN primetime games for the SEC used to be 7:45 kicks. There was just
Yep.
weird times as far as kicks.
Weird time.
7:45. Yep.
I remember that too. Absolutely. The landscape's changing in so many ways, including TV. I can watch games on the CW network now. Let's see who's
Right.
playing on the CW network this weekend.
Yep.
That'd be Temple, Georgia Tech.
Followed closely by One Tree Hill.
Reruns of Topanga, whatever.
Yes.
No, not
Yeah.
Topanga.
Boy
What was
Meets
it?
World.
Boy Meets World. Or
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well,
right.
let's
Do
get to
some
your
picks.
picks, right? Tell me what we'll be looking at. Remind the viewers what your goal is this year. The percentage of why you're doing it and how you're doing it. In case you're just
So
joining us.
just an experiment is what we started off on. I had run across a stat that was SEC home teams on their home field won right at 70% of their home games on their field. So I thought to myself, let's do something for the long haul here for the year, and let's just see if you can make any money doing that. So I take $120 and I divide it up evenly between the teams I can bet on. And let's just see what happens over the course of 13 weeks or so. So that's what I did. Week 1, we were 4-0. Week 2, we were 4-2. Week 3, we were 5-2. We're coming at 13-4. That's a 76.5 winning percentage right now. So while that all looks good, the issue, not necessarily the issue, and we'll see if it continues to be one, is the upsets we need to happen to offset the losses, because it's $20 a game, right? Those have to happen for you to make money. We started off at $140. In the bank right now, we have $119.98. So we've dropped $20.02 because the offset, we've lost money and we've not gained enough on the other side with an upset to be able to offset the lost money. So
and you're just
that's
doing
just
money
where we
line
are.
too, not the odds,
Right.
just not
Yeah,
the
just who's going to win the
just
game.
money
That's
line.
the whole
Yeah,
thing
there's
we're
a main-
after.
and yep, exactly.
Who's
Yep.
going to win? So yes, against the spread, money changes drastically when you throw
Yeah,
points
right.
on either way. So it's not the same. We're just saying who's going to win the game at the end of the game. And for the last 5 years, SEC teams have knocked it out of 70% range. So, okay, let's see if we can make money doing that. Let's see if that's sustainable. Well, so far we're down $20.02. So far it's a no, but this is only week
It's only
4.
week 3, so
Yeah.
we're just
So
coming
we're
week
going to
4.
week 4 now. So it's still this is the long game we're playing. If you're playing the short game, when you get back to 120, you cut your losses and you get out. But we're not quitters, right? We don't quit.
Yes.
We like I said before, we play through the whistle. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Right. So this weekend, we only had 4 games, SEC home fields, that we were able to bet on. Okay. So with the 119 in the bank, I was able to do $29 a game instead of the 20 because it's only 4 games. So I just took a bigger chunk out of the kitty. Yes.
Sure.
So we got OU over Auburn. We have Ole Miss over Tulane, Mississippi State over Northern Illinois, and Mizzou over South Carolina. So that's the teams we could bet on home field. They wouldn't let me bet Southeast Louisiana versus LSU. I can't imagine why. They wouldn't let me bet
Sam Houston
over Texas. Yeah, right. They wouldn't let me bet. Well, I didn't bet Arkansas Memphis because that game's in Memphis. So we lay off that, even though.
Yes. Okay. Lay off that one. Yep.
That's going to be a fun game. Take the over if you're going to bet.
Absolutely.
Memphis can score,
exactly
and Taylor Green's going to score. So
I don't know what the over is, but take it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but if as long as it's not like at 3, as long as it's not 100 or over, take the over.
Yes. Yeah, I should
the
be
UAB versus Tennessee, they won't let you bet on.
No, that's not a bet.
Florida versus Miami, we lay off that because obviously that's in Hard Rock, and we would take Miami to kill UF anyway.
Right. We would do the same thing. We wouldn't bet on that one in Gainesville, would we?
We would.
In Gainesville? That would be throwing away money, I think.
Yes, it would.
It's a percentage, I guess, for you to do it.
1,000% would be throwing away the money, but you bet it because statistically,
but to watch Florida lose is worth
$29
too.
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday for sure. So, and then the last one was Georgia State Vandy. They wouldn't let you put any money on that.
I was going to show that. That's funny. That's funny that Vandy's so good that you can't even bet on them, even though they're playing an FCS team. That
I
shows
tell
you
you
where
what,
landscape of
it
college
ain't
football is.
it ain't that long ago that if you'd have said, "Hey, there's going to come a time when you can't money line bet Vandy because they're a huge favorite," but God, bullshit, dude, you're crazy. It's
Stop
Vandy.
it.
You can
Stop it.
always bet on Vandy.
Someone, yeah,
Yeah,
right. We got to get this guy a chapter hold. He's not talking right. There's something wrong with him. He's
yeah,
doing math or
yeah.
something.
So that is week 4. We we could really use a 4-0 week. We could really use it
Yes.
for the bank. So, whatever,
I
thoughts
feel
and
pretty good
prayers,
about, yeah.
whatever it is that you do, we get us to 4-0. We really don't. And looking at these picks, the only ones I really see, I mean, Auburn, Oklahoma is a dangerous game, and
That's
then
dangerous. Yep.
Ole Miss, Tulane's a dangerous game. I don't think the other two are so
Can
much.
be.
Yeah.
No, I don't
So
either. I don't
I
either.
could easily see 4-0 here. That'll get us back to about even where we started.
Even
140
Steven to a
bucks.
quarter way
Yep.
through. That'd be good.
Yep. So that's pretty. It would put us just below that 140 mark as far as total winnings if we're able to go 4-0, and then tee it up next week and see if we can make a little money.
Absolutely. Yeah, because then we get more games we can start betting on, right? With
Yes,
some of
and
these
that's the idea.
non-conference cream puffs are out, and we'll have whatever 7, 8 games to bet
All
on. So
conference games should be hitting
all
here.
conference games.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, now we're going to get in real meat of it. Now it's already fun, but now it's like, okay, you can't miss any games. You just forget family functions. Don't go apple picking, pumpkin rides, shit like that. Just plan on getting up and watching game day if that's what you do. Kick off at noon Eastern
Mm-hmm.
to 11 Eastern if you're a real lunatic. Do some meth, whatever you need to do. Stay up, watch these games. Just do it because it's worth it. Now they're going to be primetime games that are all worth it. All right, with that, that's it for this week. Unless we have anything else. Do you have anything else you want to point out?
Well,
I
on
got
the
nothing.
point you were just making about Saturdays being
Mhm.
football Saturdays, if you would take the
Yeah.
time after this show is over and maybe make a quick text to your sister to remind her that this is what we do in the fall on Saturdays. I get this
No
text
problem.
today at 2:45 p.m. Oktoberfest this Saturday.
No. So have fun.
And I said, and I thought it was right. So I thought it was, I was reading the website. She sent me the link, and I'm looking at it, and it says $27 or whatever. And I'm like, it's 27 a person. She's like, it's free. I was like, okay, yeah, I just seen that. I missed it. I'm like, football's happening that day too. So, and she's like, oh, so
What do you mean?
period. Yeah. So she just
So
bless her heart. That's all you can do is
so
bless it, because
this girl. So if people
she
don't
should
know,
know.
Chris is my brother-in-law. My sister Natasha married to Chris. Actually, your name's not Chris. What's your name badge again? I forgot what your new
Oh,
name is.
my name is Elio Montoya. Oh, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Indigo Montoya.
Indigo,
Right?
yeah.
Indigo.
Yeah, so
Indigo Montoya.
my partner
Yeah.
Indigo here. So since my sister was 12, 13 years old, she's had to see me and my brother Kyle watch sports. Our dad, like, just 100% sports all the time. College football season was don't even try to make plans. Like, I'll probably turn the TV off if my kid's born, but when the baby's out, I did actually turn the TV on because my oldest was born on a Saturday when Michigan was beating Purdue. I had to keep the TV off until after the baby was born. So I don't know how she still doesn't understand after being married to you for 20 years and now watching me do this shit for most of her whole life, including when she's a teenager. I don't know how that she doesn't understand September 1st through now the second week of January on Saturdays and some Monday nights is off limits. Don't plan on you know what? I watched a lot of NFL, but if you want to do something on Sunday, let's go
Sign me up.
hayride or some shit
It's
like
fine.
that. Let's go. Do not make me leave the house. I don't care how nice it is. 75, no humidity, beautiful sun splashed afternoon. The hayride smells good, whatever, the pumpkin lattes and pumpkin donuts. I'm staying inside. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow.
We've been together since February of 2003.
Oh,
And we went
22 years.
we went to Tennessee games in 2003. We went to the Florida game in 2003 in Gainesville. 12 o'clock noon kick, hotter than balls. roasting,
Bowls.
just
It's
terrible.
unsafe.
So
hot.
she knows, and then we had this conversation not long after we started dating. I'm like, listen, I will be yours every Saturday of the year. All I ask is for back then, all I ask is for 11 or 12 weeks toward the
Yes.
end of the year in the fall of just me. And then the other
Right.
40, whatever. I'm game.
Yes.
You want to go?
I'm
You want to
game.
go do
Right.
something? Let's go do whatever.
Let's go
It's
to Hawaii.
just those
Whatever.
Saturdays is all I ask. Now
Right.
here's the thing.
Now,
The
by the
thing
way,
is,
perhaps a few Saturdays in March or so too, or
right?
a little
So
off limits.
yeah, and you know where I'm going here. So it
Yes,
has
I do.
become
I should be clear, actually. Right.
yeah, from Labor Day weekend through the 1st of June now.
May, June, the college playoffs, the baseball playoffs.
So the 1st of June.
Yeah.
So now those 12 that I asked for when we first started dating has now all of a sudden became 40,
like about
40. So I've totally flipped the script on this poor girl.
Yeah.
So
because I don't know if you guys know, but you see the Tennessee's on the back. Tennessee won a college baseball title 2 years ago. Last year? No, 2 years ago, I guess. 24, right? And obviously they've had great success as the basketball team, both men and women's. This college football thing does tend to extend into the winter, into the spring, and a good, decent little chunk of summer if the teams are playing well. I don't. It's not my fault that it's not your fault that Tennessee hired the best baseball coach they could in program history. That's just what it is. I can't help it that Rick Martins is getting them to the second weekend now.
I told her, I said, I don't make the news, honey. I just report it. And we're we're good at all and I'm going to support every one of them. And I didn't make that happen, but this is just what's happening. And so, and the only time she's game, she likes going to basketball games. We went to Hoover to watch SEC tournament last year in baseball. Took a Thursday trip down and come back. So she enjoys those games too. But the Saturdays are, for a long time now. Like
right.
The off season, it's hot in June and July, and then it rolls into fall, and then rolls into winter, then rolls into spring, and I got all the weekends going. And then by the time it's hot again, that's when I'm finally done. And then just rinse
we're
and repeat,
resetting.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to Florida for the weekend or for the weekend vacation. And by the way, in about 4 weeks, we're going to see college football start up again. So just be forewarned. No.
Yeah. Take advantage of this time now because
that's never going to change. That's never going to change unless the climate changes so much that teams can't afford to fly anywhere, or they can only play games within an hour's drive of the campuses. This is never going to change. I wish I did care. It would be so much easier. I have so much more time to live, do other things, be productive and around the house, whatever. Read a book, something. It would be easier not to like sports in general, wouldn't it?
It would. It'd be a hell of a lot better emotionally, for sure.
Yes.
Right. Where I might have lived to 90, I'm certainly not going to live to maybe in my 80s now because my heart just won't keep up with the
Right. And last weekend didn't help at all, by the way. Right.
No,
you hit that. We talked about it. If you go watch the show from a couple days ago, Chris did the thing where I've done many times. Like Tennessee's got that field goal. All they got to hit this field goal, and it's party time in Knoxville. It's been 10 years. They missed the field goal, and all you can do is just stand there and stare at the TV and wonder what you're doing with your life, and just sit in a chair, put your feet up in the recliner, and just kind of stare at the game because it's unfolding. You've seen this movie before, and it's just
and then
that's when you should go outside. Like, I'm gonna go mow the yard and paint the house, whatever it is. No, just sit there and sulk. That's
I couldn't
better.
be consoled. My poor daughter Shelby. She said, "Did they win?" I'm in the recliner, so she knows immediately. She asked the question, looks at me, and then she answers, "No, you didn't."
No answer.
No. Look at that. They didn't win. And so Natasha gets home from work, and she goes out the door before Natasha even gets up to the door. She's like, "Hey, listen, Tennessee lost, so take it easy on Dad." So they come in. I just in the chair
already too.
Yep. So
just
she learned at a young age how I, how things go based on Saturday. You know, the meme that it's college football season, so now I'm gonna have a group of 18 to 22-year-olds determine how I feel for the rest of the year.
Exactly. You're right. Sometimes they're 17 even.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's kids that are my children's age now at this point. That's really puts it in perspective. So now I am a little less like, this kid sucks. Get him off the friggin' field. His parents suck. I'm like, I don't know. That guy's parents could be really nice people. He
Yeah,
just
could
missed
be.
a tackle.
Nope.
He was just in class. He was at prom 6 months ago, but he missed the tackle on a 3rd and 6 that would have sealed the game. Oh, this guy sucks.
Thank
Kick him out of the
God.
program.
Thank God whoever come up with college football and what day it should have been on picked Saturday. Because
Yes.
if they picked, say it was every Tuesday they played,
Oh, Jesus.
they would be so many work fights the day after.
Yeah,
And
or
people missing
call-ins.
work. Yeah, due to
Drunk
those
and
games.
over
So whoever
DUIs and
picked
stuff.
Saturday, hats off to that guy.
Absolutely right. Yeah, that's a brilliant point. Yeah, you saved millions of lives and black eyes and broken teeth and yeah. And
There's a lot of Bammer
yeah.
wives in trailer parks down south that are so happy these are Saturdays because they
Yeah.
could get out. And, yeah,
They love it because it's like Sunday, like 3 p.m. through like Friday evening. It's probably blissful mostly, but Saturday, roll tide. That means that's roll. Put a towel on your face because you got blood rolling out of your nose. That's brothers fighting and sisters
Yeah.
and brothers loving each other, and that's just we don't make the rules. This is just how it is, folks.
that's
So,
the way it is. I said
all
we
right,
just report the news. We
hit an
don't
hour
make
and a
it.
half.
I
That's
know.
right. No,
We could do another hour and a half
That's
just talking
okay.
about this.
Seriously, this is what you're gonna get. Like, take it or leave it. This is real. It's unedited, just real. So this is college football. This is how people really act, by the way. The people who love the sport like this is not rare. This is just normal.
Make no
I
important
tell people.
decisions on Saturdays while you're watching football because you're not thinking with any
Absolutely.
kind of logic in your head at all. It's all emotional.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
you can't don't pay any bills. I have been known to buy stuff on Saturdays, a couple bourbons, watching the game, make bad decisions.
Yeah.
I came, dude,
Yeah.
that close. And those are just listening and can't see. This is like a couple millimeters I'm hanging up, putting up with my fingers. Of buying a Nico jersey one night. I was even to the page, are you sure you want to buy? And I'm like, hell yes, I'm sure. And it might,
Yes, yeah.
and I forget what game it was, but I had a couple drinks, watching the game. He played well, which I can't believe I don't remember that game because it didn't happen much. Should stick out.
Yeah, it's just true.
But I mean, it's like,
It wasn't the Ohio State game, I'm guessing.
No, it was place order now. All I gotta do is hit the button and I have me a Nico jersey. And for some reason, that little voice, that voice you never listen to, just tapping you on the shoulder like, hey, maybe you should think about not hitting that button just yet. And so I didn't. And lo and behold,
best decision you ever made.
Listen to the voice.
Listen to the voice. All right, that's Indigo. Chris. I'm Brian. This is Hell If We Know podcast, and we'll see you in a couple days because we're going to do a recap on Sunday, and we'll have it posted by Monday. So have a great week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you soon.